Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. From the Forum of PIAS, which is Pakistan International Academy of Superior Sciences, today I am going to tell you about the top secrets of your heart. And you know that the heart problems are, if not everybody, every second and third person is suffering from the heart problem. So, to understand the heart problem, the disease of heart, you must understand the anatomy of heart first. And in the understanding of heart anatomy, you should think of its development also, the development of the heart. Embryologically speaking, the heart is a vessel, dilated vessel, pumping dilated vessel. The structure of the heart is of specialized muscles, the cardiac muscles, and it is not much different from the vessels, vascular vessels of the body. It is a dilated pumping vessel, and it has been specially designed for its function in a manner that it is four chamber structure. The two upper chambers and the two lower chambers. The upper chambers are atria and the lower chambers are ventricles. The ones on the right side, both atrium and ventricle, they are right atrium and right ventricle, and the one on the left side, the upper chamber, which is atrium, is left atrium, and the ventricle, which is the downward chamber, this is left atrium. So right atrium, right ventricle, left ventricle. Both the organs of the right side and the organs of the left side are separated by a septum, by a valve, and the portion of the septum which is in between the atria, it is called interatrial septum or atrial septum, and the portion of the wall, separating wall in between the ventricles, this is called ventricular septum. Developmentally, if there is a hole in between the right and left atrium, this is called atrial septum. So, anteatrial septal defect, ASD, and if there is a hole in between the ventricles, the septum is perforated, the septum has got a hole in it. This is called ventricular septal defect, or VSD. VSD. So people are calling it there are holes in the heart. Those are these holes. लोग कहते हैं कि दिल में सुराख है, ये दो सुराख हैं, या एट्रियम के दरमियान होता है या वेंट्रिकल के दरमियान होता है. Developmentally, there are holes embryologically, but later on they are closed. If the holes are not closed, so the remaining holes are called then surakh. दिलों में सुराख है, ये वही दो सुराख हैं. Okay, the atrium of the right side is opening to the ventricle of the right side by a valve. The atria are connected to the respective ventricles of each side by valves. There are two in number, and these two valves are called atrioventricular valves, AV valves. And the right side of the valve is having three doors in it. Three doors in it are three cusps in it. And the left side of the valve is having two cusps in it. So this one, after the three cusps, this is called tricuspid valve, and this valve which has got two cusps is called bicuspid valve. Bicuspid valve, tricuspid valve. Wall of each side are connected to the walls of the ventricle by ribbons, by ropes, small ribbons. These are called cardi tendini. The ropes and vessels which are connecting the walls of each ventricle to the wall, the cusps of wall, the doors of the wall to the ventricle inside of the ventricle, they are called cardi tendini. They are tendinous structure, they are rope-like structure, and they are attaching their walls to the doors of the wall, or the cusps of the wall, to the wall of the ventricle by these tendons. That is why they are called cardi tendini. On both sides, on this side 2 walls, on this side 3 walls are connected to the inside of the ventricles. The inside of the ventricle has got special arrangements, and that special arrangement is called pectinate muscles. The muscles on these sides of the heart, the inside of the heart, the inner side of the heart is specialized to reinforce strength, and they are called pectinate muscles. So the cardi tendini are attaching the cusp to the pectinate muscles of the inside of the interside of the ventricles. Okay. Now, there are 2 specialized places in the heart. One is here on the superior side of the right atrium, and the other one is here at the junction of the atrioventricular junction. So this is called SA node, sinoatrial node, SA node, and this one is called AV node, AV node, AV node, AV node. What is it? They are 2 batteries of the heart. AV node. It is in between the atrium and ventricle, so this is called atrioventricular node. Briefly, it is called AV node, and this is on the sinus of the atrium, right atrium. So this is called sinoatrial node. Sinoatrial node. What are they? They are specialized structures which are beating automatically, which are discharging their currents automatically on the walls of the heart. So these are batteries, these are cells, and they are discharging with a heart with a beat of 72 per minute, and this is discharging at a rate of 40 to 60 per minute. So the heart rate is because of this is dominating node, and the heartbeat is because of the electrical current created or generated by this SA node, and because of this the heart rate and the pulse is created by this SA node. The current created by this node is spreading on the atrium, and from the atrium to the ventricle to this node, and from this node to the rest of the nerve system of the heart. So heart is beating because of this SA node, and if SA node is not working properly, then because of this AV node. You got it? And the ECG recording is because of the pumping of this heart. The heart contracts and dilates. Contracts and dilates. This is called, the contraction of the heart is called systole, and the dilatation of the heart is called diastole. So systolic diagram, systolic events are recorded as peaks on the ECG, and diastolic events are recorded as downward coming on the ECG. Okay? So you got it. There are 2 atria, there are 2 ventricles, there is septum in between the atria, interventricular septum, and this septum is interatrial septum, interventricular septum, and there are valves from the upper chamber to the downward. The right one is having 3 cusps, the left one is having 2 cusps. This is called tricuspid valve, this is called bicuspid valve, and the blood is coming to the heart, to the right atrium from the body, and from the portion of the body which is head and neck, this is bringing the blood by a big vessel by the name of, to the big vessel by the name of superior vena cava. Superior vena cava is bringing the blood from the arms and head and neck to the atrium, and the inferior vena cava is bringing the blood from the lower limbs plus trunk body, lower body. So blood is brought by these two major vessels called vena cavae. One is bringing the blood from the upper body portion. This is called superior vena cava, and the other one is bringing the blood from the lower limbs and the trunk, abdomen, and the rest of the organs by a big vessel called inferior vena cava. I have drawn this inferior vena cava outside of the heart to show it to you separately. Otherwise, this vena cava is behind the heart, on the posterior abdominal wall, and ascending up and passing through the liver, and then going to the heart going to the heart. This is inferior vena cava. Going to behind the pancreas, behind the posterior vena cava, which is going plaster to the posterior abdominal wall, ascends up behind the pancreas, then through the liver, and then behind the liver, through the diaphragm, direct to the right atrium, behind the heart. So it goes in a sense up behind every structure, plaster to the posterior abdominal wall, and then enters into the right atrium from the lower side. Okay? When the blood comes to the right atrium, then when the atrium contracts, blood is pushed down to the right ventricle, and from the right ventricle, this is right ventricle. From the right ventricle, when blood comes to the right ventricle through the tricuspid wall, then it goes up from the right ventricle through the pulmonary trunk. This is pulmonary trunk. This is the trunk which takes the deoxygenated blood from the right ventricle to the lungs on both sides. This then bifurcates. It divides into two. Bifurcation means dividing into two. It bifurcates into the pulmonary arteries, and these two pulmonary arteries, though it is having the deoxygenated blood, it should have been named as pulmonary veins, but still conventionally by agreement they have been named as pulmonary trunk, dividing into pulmonary arteries, right pulmonary artery and left pulmonary artery. They go to the respective lungs. Right one goes to the right lung, the left one goes to the left lung. In the lungs, blood is purified. What purification means? The carbon dioxide taken by this pulmonary trunk to the lungs, it is carbon dioxide is given out to the open air, and from the open air oxygen is taken through the alveoli into the lung, and from the alveoli the oxygenated blood is passed through the arterioles and arteries and the other structures, and then through the two from the right lung and two from the left lung. These veins are bringing blood to the left atrium. Though they are veins, but they bring oxygenated blood, purified blood to the left atrium, and from the left atrium to the bicuspid wall, blood comes down during systole, during contraction of the heart, blood goes to the left ventricle, and then from the left ventricle to the aorta, to be dispersed, to be flown, to be taken to the body organs or body parts, taking all the nutrients and taking all the oxygen to the body parts. Okay, oxygenated blood by the aorta. Though the structure of the aorta is not this line, but to simplify the situation in the picture, I have drawn the aorta at the apex or peak portion of the left atrium So you should know that to the left atrium blood comes to the bicuspid wall from the left atrium, and then from the left ventricle blood goes out through the aorta. This is here in the model. Blood comes to the left atrium, from the left atrium to the bicuspid wall. When it opens, the blood comes to the left ventricle. From the left ventricle, blood is pushed up through this wall. There is again a wall from the left atrium towards the aorta. It opens and blood comes to the aorta. This is the aorta. The aorta arches in the thorax and then goes down like this way and then spreads through its tributaries and branches to the rest of the body. So to the upper limb, to the trunk, to the head and neck, and to the lower limbs and internal organs of the abdomen. Okay, and so they are specialized named arteries. I would tell you later on today. The discussion was restricted only to the heart. The discussion was restricted only to the heart. If you have any questions, you know that these two are nodes creating or generating electrical currents because of which the heart is pumping. Okay, and these are the four chambers. Right side is having a right atrium, right ventricle. Left side is having left ventricle, left atrium, left ventricle. The right side and left side is no connection in the adult. In the mature body and the mature people, they don't have any connection, though embryologically inside the abdomen or the inside the mother, when the baby has not been born, then though these are connected to each other, the hole here is called atrial septal defect, and the hole here is called ductus arteriosus. Okay, so later on when the baby is born, it closes, and then after 1 or 2 months this closes. If they do not close, then it is called that the heart has got hole in it. These are the two holes. Okay, so okay, if you have any question, the walls of each, the cusps, these are called cusp doors. Cusps are doors of each wall is connected. The 2 of this side and the 3 of this side are connected to the inside of the heart. The wall of the ventricle is specialized in structure that it has got 3 layers: epicardium, myocardium, and endocardium. Epicardium, outer layer. Myocardium, the actual muscles. And endocardium, the inner plaster. Endocardium. If there is infection on this side of the heart, it is called endocarditis, which used to be very common in the good olden days. Okay, infection of this layer is called endocarditis, which is a very common problem, very common cause of fever in children, also in adult people. Infection of the inner side of the heart is called endocarditis, and this endocarditis is one of the causes of fever in the humans. Okay, and this endocardium is connected to the wall by small ropes. These small ropes are ribbons or tendons are called cardi tendini, tendons of the heart, which are connecting the wall to the endocardium. Currents are generated, flows from here to here, and then from here to here in the bundle of his. Okay, and then the heart beats. Okay, at a rate of 72 per minute, which is the actual rate of the SA node. And if it fails by any reason, then this node takes over the responsibility of beating the heart, pumping the heart, and its rate is 60 to 62 per minute. Okay, so that situation is called bradycardia. If the heart beats at a rate higher than the normal rate, then that situation is called tachycardia. If the heart rates if the heart beats at a rate lower than the 60 per minute, or the normal rate per minute lower than that, this is called bradycardia.